Hey everyone, how's it going? So last time we got our like button set up and now it's actually working in the sense that it's now liking and unliking posts, and you can see here that it adds and removes when we clicked it. So it's all good now. What we're going to do now is handle the client side of that, which is once we get back the result of our button press, so whether we've liked it or unliked it, we're going to reflect that in the button itself so the user knows what's just happened. So what do we want to do? Well, we want to show a number. So if I show you on my working version of the site, you'll see we got a number there, but the number only shows if there is a number to show. So we won't show 0, for example. We'll only show if the number of likes is greater than 0. So let's go back to our text editor, and in common.js, I'm going to scroll down to where we have the like button inside the create post HTML function. And I'm going to add, what am I going to add? I'm going to add a span. So in the like button part right here, after the I tag, I'm going to add a span, and I'll close it off as well right now. And then, oops, I didn't do it right. So I'll add a span, and in there, we're going to just show the number of likes. So in there, I'll just inject the post data.likes.length value, okay? Now I'll go back to here and I'll refresh the page. Now, you'll see that it's got 0 there, as well as the 1 for the one we've liked. If I press it, then we refresh the page, you'll see it turns to 0. So it's now showing the likes. Great. But like I said, we don't want to show it if it's 0. So to get around that, what we can do is after this .length part, we can do an OR operator, so the double pipe symbol for OR, and then just put an empty string. So this means that if the length of the likes array evaluates to false, it will do this part instead. So when you use an OR operator like this, it essentially means if the first part is true, use this. If it's false, use this. Now when I say true, I don't mean the true in the sense of a Boolean. I mean it's in JavaScript it's called truthy, which is kind of like it evaluates to true, but it's not actually true. So for example, the number 0 evaluates to false in JavaScript, but that doesn't mean that 0 is a Boolean, because it's not. Obviously, it's an integer, it's a number. So we're basically saying if the value of this evaluates to true, use this. If not, use this. So now what you're going to see is when I refresh the page, you're going to see that these have now disappeared because the value of those is 0, or the value of the length property I should say is 0. So it evaluated to false and it used the empty string instead. Now that means that if I press the like button and refresh the page, you will see a 1 if it's not 0, because 1 does not evaluate to false. So that's what we want. Great. Now, of course, right now we have to refresh the page in order to see the updated value. So let's take care of that now. So I'll scroll up to where we make the AJAX request, this part here. And what we're going to do is inside of this success block, we're not going to log it anymore. What we'll do instead is go back to here, and we're going to say button, which is this variable up here, which is the element that was clicked. Okay, so the button element. Then we're going to go and find a span. So this is saying take the button element and then go into it and find the span element. So the next span element you find. Of course, our buttons only contain one span element, so that means you'll only just get this one right here. So we found this element here essentially. Where were we? Here. And then what we're going to do is just update the text of it. So say .text, and then we're going to put post data .likes.length, and then OR, and then the empty string, just like we did down here. It's the exact same situation, okay? If it's got a value, it will use it. Otherwise, it will just use the empty string. Okay, so that should now update the number correctly every time. So if I click on this, it disappears. Great. And if I press it again, it comes back. Same for these ones. Same for this one. This one's not doing it. Are the others working? So the others aren't doing it either. And why is that? If I refresh the page, is it still doing it? Okay, so the other ones aren't reflecting it straight away. I don't know why. What we can do though is set a breakpoint in there. So I'll go to sources and I'll go to the common.js file, and I'll set a breakpoint in here. So I've set a breakpoint. I'll click this. You don't have to copy this if you don't want to. you can just watch me do it, and I'll figure out why it's doing this. So these ones weren't working, so I'm clicking that, and what have we got? So likes has the value, so it should update to 1. So yeah. Do we have the button? Oh, wait a minute, I know why. Yeah, I know why. So basically, the target in this case was actually the I tag, so the icon element, not the button itself. So button actually contains the I, as you can see here. So when it goes into this part and tries to find a span, it's not finding any, because if you go back to here, you'll see that the I tag doesn't have anything inside of it. There's no span inside of it. It's because the target of the click was on the I instead of on the button. Now this is super easy to fix. What we're going to do is just go to our CSS file real quick. I know exactly what I'm adding, so there's no need to do it in the browser. We'll scroll to the top. Have we styled the button yet? The button element? Yeah, we've done it there. So underneath the button element, I'm just going to add a little bit more. I'll say button and then I. And I'll also do a button and then span. So this style will be applied to the I tags inside of buttons and also the span tags inside of buttons. Now what I'm going to do is say pointer events none. So pointer events none means that it's just saying don't register any mouse events on this. So it won't register click events, for example. So I'll get rid of the breakpoint. I don't want it to stop there anymore. And I'll refresh the page. And now you should see on every element it works. It updates the values as expected, okay? So that was a little bug fix right there. But we're looking good now. Every time we click, it updates the value.